Kevin Kew.
Good evening. My name's actually Trevor Kew, and I'm here on a Friday night to talk to you about work. And actually, more specifically, I'm going to talk to you about the role that work has played in my life and how I communicate that to my students. So I teach a lot of grade 12 students, and a lot of them ask me questions sort of indirectly in a way about what they should be, and and I say, because I know they're trying to distract me from the lesson, I say, hey, come on, get back to the literature. We got an exam. Heart of Darkness, though, the guy sailing up the river, just to find out, what's at the core of the human soul. Things fall apart with Okonkwo trying to overcome his lazy, inept father and the legacy of that. Perfume, where, the guy tries to make the ultimate expression of scent, although he does that through the bodies of, using the bodies of virgins, but never mind about that. And then the ultimate man with a purpose in life, Craik, the scientist in Oryx and Craik, who decides that human beings have had their go on the world, we've messed it up, and he's going to replace us with an updated, better version. And this doesn't work at all. Students say, come on, you've tried this literature thing for a few years, we want to know about the real world. We want to know about jobs. We want to know what it's like to be out there in the real world. And I say, well, just like the lady who was speaking about adventure tonight, you have to try some things out. You have to try some jobs out. And I do what all teachers do when kids aren't listening to us talking about literature, is we talk about our personal experiences. We try that one. These are some of the jobs I've done in my life before I became a teacher. I'm Canadian, so I shoveled a lot of driveways. I refereed ice hockey, so I can clean blood out of ice. Butterfly catching is a job in Canada. The only thing is, after you catch the butterflies for the Ministry of Forests, you have to kill them. Excuse me, sorry, butterfly enthusiast. Flagging, if you don't know what flagging is the worst job I ever had. That's the job where you turn the sign from stop to slow and back to slow. I think in Japan they have robots for that. But I became a teacher of English literature in the end, because not for any altruistic reason or because I liked kids, but because I wanted to move to England, and I thought, well, if I know something about English literature, I'll stand a chance in England. But really deep down, I wanted to be a writer, and I thought being a writer sounded kind of cool. The thing is, being a writer is not a job. A writer is actually a skill. And so I had to think about, sort of what kind of writer I wanted to be, and I thought about journalism, and that was a lot of like talking to people and research, and so I didn't do that. And I thought, well, I could be a travel writer, but I'd never been anywhere at that point, so that wouldn't work. And then I said to my parents, no, I'm going to get serious. I'm going to write adult fiction. And my parents thought I meant pornography. So so that didn't go over well. I thought that'd be kind of awkward at Christmas to talk about my books. So eventually, I decided on children's fiction. And the problem with being a writer is that you actually have to write. And this is a huge disappointment when I found this out. Much cooler to just say you are one. And because the job is quite demanding. It's all of these things, they're just words here, but these are really time-consuming, difficult, soul-searching kinds of things, especially the last one. And the one that really got me was promotions, actually. I didn't know. I thought as soon as the book was out there, that was job done. Everyone would want to read it. But actually, one thing that I found out, this was actually very liberating, was that no one cares. No one, and I mean that in the nicest possible way, no one cares about your passion just because it's your passion. Nobody cares about how much work you put in just because you put the work in. And this is my class. And they get this look whenever I bring up the books. They sort of, glaze over and they go, yeah, but you're not a real writer like these guys were reading, right? But this is actually a good thing, because it made me realize that other people can help you with your passions and with your dreams and your goals, but only if they're getting something out of it too. And I think that's a good thing, because when I look at university acceptance letters for university application letters, for my students, I look at a lot of them. They often only think about what they'll get out of university. And I say, no, tell the university as well what you will bring to the university. And the example I have of this is a librarian at Marist Brothers International School. And I was in Kobe and I said, hey, I'll come by and do an author visit for free. And done author visits and got paid in the past. And he did the most work promoting my book that I've ever had in my entire life. And we had the best time with the kids. We played soccer, we did all this crazy stuff. And so just giving a little kind of brought someone else into it and made writing not such a lonely profession, and bringing more people into it, bloggers, other people like that, has been one of the joys. Because when I started writing, I thought it was sort of being in a cabin in the woods by yourself, writing great masterpieces, but that's not what it's all about. Can everyone just shout out dreams you had when you were a kid? Like, unfulfilled would be the best. Can you just shout them out randomly? As much as possible. Go for it. This is going to be on the internet, though, so. Keep going. That's illegal. Okay. I wanted to be a professional goalkeeper in England. And the problem was, as I lived in Rossland, British Columbia, Canada, which is a frozen wasteland most of the year. And also, I can't really jump that high. But I did actually end up going to England to be a teacher, and I played in the FA Cup, for the actual FA Cup for my local team. That's not the FA Cup. We got knocked out of the FA Cup. That's the Johnson's Paint Intermediate British Gas Trophy, which we won. But soccer also led into my novels, and I finally found what kind of writer I could be, and so that was the topic in the end. And the thing is, once the first one was published, I kind of thought, right, now I've achieved the goal. That's what the whole point was. That was the purpose. But then I realized that success is not a destination. Success is not that job you wanted. It's not that university you wanted to get into. Success is a bridge. It's something that you use to build on. And I think students don't always understand that, and I didn't understand that. And this is how I've come to view the two jobs that make up a big part of my identity now, the two ways that I work. With writing, it was different. I had the purpose from the beginning. I wanted to get published. I wanted to write something that I felt was valuable. And I had to figure out if I could do the job and if the job worked for me. With teaching, the job came first. I didn't like it at first all the time. I did all the things all teachers have to do for many years. And over time, in time, I found purpose in it, and I actually started to kind of like it. Thank you very much.